Brawl Stars is kicking off 2021's esports with the Brawl Stars Championship. This weekend on February 20th and 21st, you have a chance to qualify, or if you don't really care about that kind of stuff, you have a chance to earn a lot of loot. In order to win the whole thing, you have to get 15 wins with no more than 4 losses. That means that less than 1% of the entire player base is going to have a chance to win, which means that you're going to want all the help you can get. Lucky for you, I've reached out to 16 pro players that are very well respected within the Brawl Stars esports community, and they'd let me know what the best brawlers are for the maps. So I wanted to give a huge thank you to the pro competitive collaborators. They have an average trophy count of 36.4 thousand trophies, which is just insane. Not only did I ask them to tell me which brawlers they consider to be the best for each of the maps that are going to be in this challenge, but I also asked them to give quick and dirty tips to make it super easy for you to win, as well as tell me which their best gadgets and star powers are for each of the brawlers. That's exactly what we're going to go over today, and I wanted to give a huge thank you to OnePlus for sponsoring this video. Check the link in the description below. All of the recent OnePlus devices are fantastic for Brawl Stars, so it's definitely worth looking at. We now have 6 competitive modes that are going to be happening in a championship challenge. However, only 5 are going to be played each month, and it just so happens that this month Siege is not going to be included. Starting off, we got Nita with either star power. We have Mr. P's second star power, Revolving Door, which is going to be able to get some more porters on the field, and his second gadget, Porter Reinforcements, to get even more porters on the field. Then we got Jessie with her first star power, which is going to help her heal her turret Scrappy, and then her first gadget, Spark Plug, which is going to help slow down enemies and give you a really good advantage. You'll notice that 50% right there. What that means is that half of the pro players selected these 3 brawlers as some of the best brawlers to play on this map. Next, we got Jackie with her Hardy Hard Hat star power, which is going to give her a permanent shield. Then we have Byron, and you can actually use either star power for Byron. His first star power, you don't see the value very often, but when you use his super, it really can impact the negative team a lot. However, I actually prefer his second gadget, Injection, for some of that piercing attack. Then 64% of the pro players selected Colonel Ruffs as one of the best brawlers for this map. We got BB with her batting stance star power for that additional shield, and let me tell you, okay, the pros swear by batting stance over her other star power. That shield, for whatever reason, is just incredibly good. Then we got Sandy with his rude stance star power to prevent the enemy team from healing or hiding in bushes, and then we have Amber with her Wild Flame star power for that faster supercharging. Now, whenever 70% or more of the pro players selected a brawler as the best for the mode, I gave them a gold frame, and this just goes to show that Amber and Sandy really are insanely good. As for some quick and dirty tips to really help you win this match, we're gonna have Amber, Colonel Ruffs, Byron, Jessie, or Mr. P typically going in the middle, right? These are some of the more long-range brawlers, where you're going to have Sandy, BB, Jackie, Nita, and these shorter range brawlers are gonna take either the left or the right side. You want a mid and 2 sides so that you guys can really get control of there. As is almost always the case in Brawl Stars, you want to focus on winning your lane first, and once you've done that, then you go and you team with your teammates to go and beat the other lane. Let's say you're on the side and you have a teammate that ends up falling back because they're losing their lane or they die. You really need to be paying attention to that, because if that happens, you're about to be 2v1, so you need to fall back as well so that that doesn't happen. You guys can heal back up and regain some control later on. Another thing that the pros really wanted to stress is the importance of not all 3 of you guys going down one side, because if you do that and the enemy team grabs the ball, they can just easily slip right in here and kick it into the goal. With that said, if you see the enemy team all going on one side, you can do the exact same thing, so pay close attention. After you win those first 3 matches, you're going to go into Hot Zone for Dueling Beatles, where you're going to get your wins 4 through 6. First up, we got Tick. Now, I gave him a red frame because less than half of the pro players actually selected him as a best brawler. However, if you do want to use him, you can use his automatic reload star power, and his last hurrah gadget, the newest one, is just incredibly good. Then we got Mr. P, who you're going to want to use his Revolving Door star power, his second star power, so that you can get more porters onto the field frequently. That really is such a pain for the enemy team. And then, of course, his newest second gadget as well. Then we got Jessie, and it really does come down to player preference which star power and gadget you use. We also have Byron, and then Sprout. And for Sprout, you're going to want to use his shield star power. That photosynthesis for shielding is going to be incredibly good for him, as he's going to go into the center and use this bush. But instead of using his Garden Mulcher gadget to heal while he's in the bush, you actually want to go with Sprout's Transplant to block the enemy team, because you put down a wall right there and they have to go around. Oh, you just remove the wall, you put it right there, they can't get in there, they have to go around again. It's incredibly strong for you to do it like that. if you're able to get that up. Then we got Healing Wind Sandy, and the thing is with Sandy is for this map, you know that your teammates are going to want to go right here, and you know the enemy is going to want to go right there, and there's not bush hiding the enemy right here, so rather than going with Rude Sands to try and reveal where they are in the bush, you want to go with Healing Wind since it heals 3 times as much as Rude Sands deals damage. Next is Penny with her second star power, Balls of Fire, for that control, and then of course her Captain's Compass gadget is going to help out a lot. With Penny, you want her to go into the middle and drop her to either right here or right here, whichever corner is better for you. And if these walls get destroyed, you can even put it right here, or even over here or right there, because the enemy team is going to have to really go out of their way to try and take it out, which is just gonna waste too much time for them. Then we got Colonel Ruffs, and check this out, guys. 100% of the voters actually selected Amber with her Wild Flames gadget or star power. Okay, Amber is incredibly good. What you want to do on this map is you want to play Penny, Sprout, or Tick all in the middle right here, and then everybody else you want to either take a left lane or a right lane. The biggest mistake that people do on this map is all people going right into the center, where it is so easy for enemies to hit you because you're all bunched up, and then they can take advantage of splash damage and stuff like that. Do not all go in the center. Just like most of Brawl Stars, you want to split up into these 3 lanes right here so that you can do a 3-pronged approach to taking out the enemy brawler and controlling that center. Now, once you do have control of the center, you do want to push up just a little bit, but it's not your goal to try and spawn trap the enemy, because they have that advantage when they are actually respawning, and so you do not want to push too far up here, because if you do and they take you out, then you lost your lane, and then your teammates are going to be the ones that have to try and defend, and you don't want to do that. So just be careful about it. You only need 1 person in the center to bring that flag up. So if you can push up a little bit and you got 1 person in the center, then you should be good. Another really big tip is if you die and your team dies as well, wait for your team to come up with you. You are stronger as a group of 3 players, especially when you're facing off against 3 other players that are controlling the center. So wait for them if you can, and push up together. The third set of matches is going to happen on Hot Potato for Heist. Starting off, we got Daryl. Only a 36% selected him, so you could go with Daryl. Kind of same thing with Max. You could go with her if you're going to go with the run and gun star power for her. Then we got Colonel Ruffs, and then Jessie. Now Jessie, you're going to want to go with the second gadget, her recoil spring, for that really fast shooting, because if you get her turret shooting fast on that enemy safe right there, I mean, it's just going to deal damage so incredibly fast, and it's really difficult for them to deal with. They have to focus on the Jessie, which can even if your Jessie turret does get taken out, it's going to waste ammo, and it's going to allow you and your teammates time to get up close to the safe. Next, we got Rico with a super bouncy gadget. I like to play Rico right here because you can control right here and bounce those shots right there, or go in right there and bounce them like that. But Rico can also work over here as well. The right side tends to be the best for him, in my opinion, though. Next is Amber with her Wild Flame star power. Then we also have Barley with his extra noxious star power as well, which is going to deal that additional damage. Now for his gadget, it's going to come down to personal preference. However, I like a sticky syrup mixer so that he can deal with 1v1 situations where you got somebody that's going to pinch you around the side and you have to kind of slow them down so that you buy yourself a little bit of time to take them out. Now we've got BB with batting stance. 86% of the pros selected her. She's incredibly good, but even more impressive than BB is 8-bit, where we've got his plugged in star power is going to allow him to get that additional speed, and his extra credit gadget is going to give you a ton of additional DPS, where you're going to be able to just unload a ton of damage on the safe, and if they try and block it, then they're going to get hit by it. I mean, it's going to shred through them. As you can see right here, this is pretty much going to be meta, because the pros definitely agree that these are the best 3 brawlers for the map. What you want to do is you want to have 8-bit go off into the center, and then you can have Barley or Rico or Amber or whatever go off to either one of the sides. Once again, 3-pronged approach. You want to win your lane first, then you help your teammates, then you guys push forward. If you're going to be playing BB or Daryl or Max or anything like that, then you actually want to be kind of a little bit aggressive and try and get in there and force the enemy to fall back to deal with you. But one thing you really want to make sure you're doing, if you have an enemy on your safe, make sure not all 3 of you stay back to defend. If all 3 of you stay back to defend, then once you take one out, they're going to respawn and they're going to have plenty of time to come right back while you're dealing with the other 2. However, if you have 2 people defending and you have another person going off up into the side to try and deal damage to the enemy safe, then when they respawn, they're going to have to deal with you. And then when your team clears the other people attacking your safe, then that gives you them a little bit of time to come here and try and deal some damage to onto the safe. Another quick tip is if you can get an 8-bits turret with Amber, and she's able to deal damage on the safe with 8-bits turret, she is insane. That safe is just gonna melt. For wins 10 10 through 12, we're jumping into Gem Grab on Hard Rock Mine. Starting off, we got Max with Run and Gun. You can play her, however, she wasn't as recommended as some of the other brawlers here. We also have Sprout, where you're going to want to have both of his bush abilities, right? He's just so good. That shielding and that healing is going to make him survive so well in there. However, only 50% of the pros selected him as one of the best brawlers. And surprise, surprise, we're clear down to brawler number 7, and we're already in the gold frames because there are so many really great options on this map. We got Amber with her Wild Flame star power. We got Piper with her Ambush star power, so she can hide in the bush right here, deal additional damage, and her homemade recipe so that she can home in on enemies and really deal that damage. So good. There's also Sandy with his Rude Sand star power, so you can reveal where enemies are in the bush, or even just, you know, connect these bushes right here, so it's really hard for the enemy to know where you guys are. We got Colonel Ruffs, 79% selected him because he's so good on this map. We also have Byron. Either star power can work. Once again, I prefer his injection star power for the additional piercing. Then we got Mr. P right here, okay? First star power, handled with care, so that he gets that additional range right here, especially because he's not going to be attacking around obstacles as often as on some other maps. And then we also have his Porter Reinforcement gadget, his second gadget, for some more porters on the field. And once again, 8-bit. 100% of the pros selected 8-bit as one of the best brawlers for this map. You want his plugged in star power so that you can have that additional movement speed. Now, either gadget can work with 8-bit. I actually prefer his teleport gadget because you can put his turret here or somewhere where you're gonna be able to teleport to some safety. But if you'd like the additional damage, you can definitely go with that. However, these brawlers right here, they don't have a whole lot of HP, so you're probably not going to need that additional damage for that one shot. Now, as for some tips right here, what you want to do is you want to have either Piper or Byron actually in the middle. Those are going to be your gem carriers, okay? And then anybody else is going to go off into the side. If you're playing a little bit more of an aggressive brawler, like Amber or maybe even Colonel Ruffs, you could actually try and come up in here. But honestly, most of the time, if you can just defend both of these lanes, and then once you take care of the enemy brawler that you're facing, then you double team on whoever's in the center. That's going to really give you some solid control and is going to help you win. Control is a lot more important than getting that additional kill. I mean, unless, you know, the countdown is happening, but you guys get the idea. You want to focus on staying alive. And finally, we have the last 3 wins, which are going to take place in Bounty on Canal Grande. Not even 1% of the player base is going to get to this point. So if you get here, the competition is going to be intense. For starters, we've got Brock. We included him right there, you know, but he is in the red frame. Less than 50% of the players actually selected him. We got Piper with 50%. Actually, I was a little bit of surprise there. You definitely want her homemade recipe gadget to do there. But the star power, some might think that you want to go with the ambush star power. Here's the deal with this map is that a lot of the times the bush is going to get destroyed. And so you can actually go with either one. Her ambush is going to be better in early game. Her snappy snipey is going to be better in late game. We also have Mortis with the coiled snake star power. Either gadget can work, but I prefer his combo spinner for instant value. Next is Colonel Ruffs. We've also got Jackie with her hardy hard hat star power for that permanent shield. Byron with either star power. Once again, I prefer his injection star power so that it can pierce through teammates and enemies. Next is Sprout with both of the bush abilities. The shield is going to help him survive so well in the bush, and he's going to be able to just eat 1 square of that bush to heal up a ton. It's incredibly strong, and if you play Sprout right, he's so good on this map. Next, we also have Tick, and you can play either star power with Tick. The thing is that the first star power, where he actually starts to heal faster, is better against other enemy Ticks, but his automatic reload star power is better against most of the other brawlers. As for his gadget, you definitely want that last hurrah gadget because it's OP. And then we have Mr. P with the additional range star power, his handle with care, and then porter reinforcements with his gadget so that you can get some more porters on there. It helps to give you a little bit additional range in those situations where you just need to deal a little bit of extra damage. Now for this map, the very beginning is absolutely critical. If you guys lose the first skirmish or you do not get control of either side, you guys are going to be choked right between these 2 sections right here, and that is a very terrible spawn trap. So you definitely want to make sure that you at least get control of one side at the very beginning of the match. You have 2 options, okay? You can either split ways where you're gonna have 2 people on one side and 1 person on the other side, or you can all 3 go onto one side. Now, I recommend the safe way, and that is going to be to split up 2 versus 1. And what that's pretty much going to allow you to do is to be able to control the entire field if you all win your sides so that you can spawn trap the enemy. However, you can also just all three go on one lane, make sure that you win this lane because it's either going to be a 3v2 or 3v1, but then you have this awkward like crossfire right here where it's a little bit more risky, but if you do it, it can work out well. Brawlers that struggle in close range like Tick and Sprout should probably not be the brawlers that go solo down a lane. If they need to do that, they have to be really careful and make sure that they're facing off against other long range brawlers that aren't going to get too close to them. However, with Tick's new gadget, he definitely has a lot more viability than he used to. When it comes to bounty, whether you're in the lead or not, you really want to make sure that you focus on staying alive more than you focus on getting kills. I know it sounds silly because the goal is to get kills, but you can't get kills if you're dead, and your teammates are going to be without your help if you're dead. So absolutely make sure that you stay alive more than focus on getting those kills. If you have to fall back to heal, just fall back to heal, okay? It's just a few seconds. You'll be in a much better situation with full health so that you can actually win the match. And if you guys do get a star lead, you don't need to try and force kills. Just take your time, fall back a little bit if you really need to, and just be patient about it, okay? And if you do that, you guys are gonna win. You're gonna be all set. And that is the end of this video guide. I wanted to give once again a huge thank you to these pro players that really helped out with this. I did not make this guide. They made this guide, and I took all of their notes and all of their feedback and I put it together for you guys so that you would know which brawlers really are the best, which star powers, which gadgets to use, and also some quick and dirty tips on how to actually win with those brawlers. Also, big shout out to OnePlus. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. Make sure you guys subscribe for more quality Brawl Stars content on this channel. And if this helped you, please let me know, because there's a good chance that I'll do this again next month if enough people actually really like this video. Don't forget to use code Kairos in the Brawl Stars shop. And for now, this is KairosTime ticking by, and we will see you in Brawl Stars.